Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my May update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan. This is my third and fourth update for this project. Same thing that I did with my regular project pan. I did not do an update in April because I wasn't wearing a ton of makeup as my maternity leave is coming to an end, and so I wasn't putting on makeup, I wasn't really filming, and so now I'm back to work, back to wearing makeup, and back to work for over a month now, which is so crazy. So I've been definitely picking up the pace in my project pans, although I will say, unfortunately, I have not yet hit a pan in any of my eyeshadows that I've been working on, although I do feel like I'm getting close in some, but I do have some commentary about eyeshadows in general that I do want to get to in this video. But before we jump into kind of the meat of the video, let's go ahead and talk about how this project works. So at the beginning of the year, I randomly selected 5 eyeshadows from my collection to work on, and I work on those eyeshadows until I hit pan on them, and then I randomly select a new eyeshadow to roll in and work on in its place. Now, I do have the opportunity, if I've used an eyeshadow for 20 uses and I feel like, I have no desire to keep using it, or I'm never gonna hit pan, or whatever the reason may be, it can be, you know, anything, I can roll it out of the project at 20 uses and roll something else in. I have not done that yet with this project. I don't know if I'm going to or not, but yeah, that's pretty much how the project works. And then I track everything in terms of like my eyeshadow collection on a spreadsheet. So I have my computer up behind me, and I wanted to share some numbers, although I feel like there's been a little bit of confusion on my end on like what my numbers actually are, but they haven't changed all year. But for some reason I was having some issues with like calculating the percentage of pan, but I think I've got it right now. It's straight in my head. So I'm looking at the spreadsheet right now. So if you see me reading, that's why. I have 248 eyeshadows. 14 of them are single eyeshadows and 226 of them are across 13 different palettes. Now, I have 30 pans of eyeshadow in my collection, meaning like I've hit the little metal pan. You can see that. I've used enough product of 30 different eyeshadows to be able to see the metal pan. So that leaves my pan percentage at 12.09%. I think in February I was getting confused and thinking it was 10%, but it's 12.09% of pan percentage. And that leaves me with like 218 eligible to be able to be rolled into this project if I hit a new pan at some point soon. So that is that in terms of what pans that I have and my numbers. My goal last year was to hit 15%, and I got close, but then I bought some new eyeshadows so that my pan percentage dropped. So I'd still love to hit 15%, although it is May and I have not yet hit a pan, so we will see if that happens this year or not. It's interesting though with eyeshadow, I feel like I've been wearing less and less eyeshadow, and I just saw a video that Kelly Gooch posted. She made mention that basically eyeshadow, or how we've typically worn eyeshadow, is out and like no eyeshadows in, and that eyeshadow is an old lady thing. What does that mean? I don't know. I will say, just in my day-to-day, I am wearing less eyeshadow, and not necessarily because it's trendy or whatever. I just kind of like that look sometimes without eyeshadow, whereas before I feel like I would always have eyeshadow. It was like my favorite part of my makeup routine. So that's something interesting that I've just noticed in myself. I don't know if any of you are kind of feeling the same way, but I feel like that mindset kind of makes me use eyeshadow a little bit slower, and that's just kind of where I'm at. But either way, I'm still determined to work through these eyeshadows in my project because I do still enjoy wearing it when I wear it. Like, it's not like I've totally cut it out of my life. I'm wearing a purple eyeshadow today as a liner and I absolutely love it. So it's just one of those things to just kind of keep in mind that there are days where I'm just not wearing eyeshadow, but most days when I do wear eyeshadow, it is one of these 5 that I am working on. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I am gonna start with probably the more exciting update, and that is I feel like I have 2 eyeshadows that are getting pretty close to hitting pan, and these both actually come from my ABH Jackie Ina palette. So they are the shades Edges and Shookington. So let's start with Edges. This one right here, I've used this one 7 times. I think it's a great crease shade, really easy to use, and I feel like I'm getting a nice little dip going on that and starting to see some real progress here. And I feel like once you start seeing progress in an eyeshadow, usually you can start moving a little bit faster. So happy to keep working on that one. Happy with the 7 uses. It's very much slow and steady over here. That is the highest number. I have 2 eyeshadows that I use 7 times. That's the highest number that we're seeing in today's update. But I think if I keep plugging away on this, we're gonna hit pan on it in the next couple months. And then another one from this palette that I feel like we're actually getting pretty close on is Shookington. And so I only used this one 4 times, but there is definitely, the dip is growing, and I think that's because this eyeshadow is just super, I don't know if powdery is the right word. I feel like I'm just moving through it rather quickly. Even with putting a liner brush in there, I feel like I'm seeing the dent in the eyeshadow grow bigger and bigger each time I'm using it. And I do have to go back and re-dip to get the pigmentation level that I want when I'm doing a liner with this shadow. So I think this one could be, if I keep up with doing like looks like this that I'm wearing today, I think Shookington could be my first pan. So I'm really excited about both of these updates. I think we are going to have a couple new pans in this palette soon, which is super exciting because I feel like already I have 3 pans in this palette, so I'd love to see a couple more. And yeah, we're just gonna keep working away on those. The other eyeshadow that I use 7 times comes from another ABH palette. This is the ABH Nouveau palette, and it is the shade right here called Metro, another really pretty crease shade. This is actually my preferred crease shade about all of the ones that I have in this project. I have 3 that could be used as crease shades, but Metro is definitely my preferred one. And I love wearing Metro. I've been really liking Flor and Paloma from this palette. I've been wearing the 3 of those a ton together, which has been nice. I like dipping into other colors in my palettes when I'm doing this project, so it's been nice to mix and match a little bit in here. But Metro's super cute. I really like how it looks. It's just like very mellow, I feel like, and easy to put on for work and stuff, which is nice. It's starting to have a little bit of a dip in here. You can definitely see more of a dip in edges than in Metro, but I feel like once I get maybe like 10, 15 more uses on it, this one will be looking like edges. And like I said, once you start seeing that like initial dip, especially in a matte eyeshadow, I feel like then you start getting like more and more progress every time you use it. I feel like we're getting close to seeing that dent in there more and more. I've been really enjoying just having this whole palette in this project. And then I did not do well on either of the eyeshadows coming from these 2 palettes. So coming from my Huda Beauty Empowered palette, I'm working on the shade Get It, and I only used it once, unfortunately. I know it's just not my favorite. I feel like it's a little bright, so I need to figure out a way to either mix it with a couple of the other shades, or I'm not sure, but it's just not the one that I tend to go for. So I like looking at this palette, I wish like either Best Self or Power got rolled in. I feel like those ones would be a little bit easier for me to use, but Get It is just kind of a little orangey for me right now. So we'll see, maybe with a tan in the summer, it'll blend a little bit better, but I just have not devoted the time to that one. Hopefully soon, maybe when one of the other matte shades gets rolled out, I can focus on that one being my crease shade. But like I said, I only use that once, so I definitely need to pick up the pace on that one. And then my other palette that is in this project is my Jaclyn Hill palette, and I am working on the shade Hillster, which again, not a favorite. It's this shade right here. I did wear it as a liner the other day, and I did enjoy it like that, so I think that's the best way for me to try and use this shade right now, to be honest with you. I'm not really enjoying it all over the lid. It's just a little too much. Like I said, I am still wearing eyeshadow, but I think something like that all over my lid is just not the vibe for me right now. But I could definitely wear it as liner. I enjoyed wearing it as liner. I think it turned out really nice. So I think that's like a good compromise for me for some of these to figure out how to wear them. So the purple and then this shade I'll wear as liners, and then I'm continuing to wear the other shades as crease shades, and then I'm pulling different shimmers, or I really love wearing, like I said, that Paloma shade, that matte shade, like putting that all over my lid and then doing one of these crease shades in the crease and kind of the outer corner. Slowly figuring out how to use all of these to be able to hit pan, but it's definitely been a little bit more of a struggle, I feel like, than normal. And it's so funny because when I originally pulled all 5 of these shades, I was so excited about the 3 crease shades, but now I kind of wish I had more shimmers. But then when I have shimmers, I'm always wishing for matte, so maybe it's one of those things like the grass is always greener, like you're always looking for something different. And I get it too, because I've been using the same shades for many months now. It's like a little bit boring. And my favorite part of these videos is rolling the new shadows in, and I haven't been able to do that either. So I'm just really going to hone in on 1 or 2 of these shades this month and try and get a pan. I think that's gonna be my goal, just because I'm looking for something new. And I know that's not always the best practice with panning, is to just like focus. It's more like spread the love. But I've been spreading the love as best as I can, and I will keep doing that as best as I can, but I think I'm really just gonna try and focus on one or two and see what we can do with those, just so I can roll something new into this project. So yeah, that is the update. Not a super exciting one, but definitely something where it's like, hey, we continue to make progress, which is the whole point of this. And I'm very curious to see like what I can do over the next month or so. And if I can hit a pan, I'm so excited to be able to roll something new in. So I hope all of you enjoyed this video, just getting to see where everything's at in this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will talk to you in my next one. Bye.